I think the Castleford Six may find it very difficult indeed.
Well, the Tigers suffered just 3 defeats throughout 2007. They clinched promotion with a 42-10 grand final triumph over Widnes. They have 11 straight wins behind them in a run that stretches back to last July. The Catalan Dragons, 10 of their 17 here tonight are Frenchmen. Can they do what Huddersfield, beaten in the Challenge Cup final in 2006, did last year and qualify for the playoffs? But of more importance to Castleford is getting their Super League life back on track and off to the best possible start. So the first Super League match of the new campaign for the Tigers, and before the game the crowd here will take part in a minute's applause for 3 people who have passed away recently. Harold Southwell is the grandfather of Joe Westerman. Ronnie Owen is the grandfather of Richard Owen, who are 2 outstanding young players here at Castleford. And also right now they will remember Richard Tennant, the son of former rugby league referee and rugby league official Ray Tennant. There he is, who is a great friend of all of us on the Sky Sports rugby league team. Richard sadly also passed away recently, aged just 24, and our deepest sympathy go to all concerned. Obviously a very difficult time for the families all concerned, and in particular Jennifer and Ray Tennant. We send our deepest sympathy, of course, to them. So Castleford Tigers, they begin life back in the big time. Can they challenge the top 6? A difficult first night for them. The Catalan Dragons got to Wembley in the Challenge Cup final last year. They finished 12th in their first season, 10th last year. They've improved year on year. Can Castleford do anything against them? We shall see over the next 80 minutes. Ryan McGoldrick gets us underway. And here we go for the first night down here at the Jungle. And that's David Ferriol who will take the first tackle for the Catalan Dragons. They had the most awful trip to the north of England yesterday. They had to journey on a coach to Spain, to Girona, then they flew to Doncaster. They then cleared customs, got on a bus from Doncaster, came to Castleford. They trained late yesterday afternoon, and then they spent the night in the hotel. And what's probably more important to them, as they get the first penalty here for ball stealing by Michael Korkidas, they lost today Adam Mogg, their former Queensland State of Origin centre, with a pulled muscle in training, in that training session, and the youngster Jean-Philippe Bale, the former rugby union player, has taken over from him.
A few bit sad loss as well, because Adam Mogg, he was in superb form last year. A pretty good outfit though, you know, this French Catalan side. They're pretty solid, especially in the forwards.
Gorrell is such an important part of their jigsaw, so too was Casey Maguire, and that's a good ball wide out to this far side, picked up by Katabi on the bounce, but illegally there was a little knock on there by Younis Katabi.
Well, he tried the cutout pass, the opportunity was there. You can see that the Tigers' defence very slow to slide across.
Gave himself up then, Katabi, didn't he?
If he'd got a good pass, he'd have been able to squeeze in. He's got plenty of pace out wide.
Let's go down to the sideline early, talk to Bill.
Eddie, you mentioned Adam Mogg's absence. It is in fact a hamstring injury. He pulled a hamstring in training yesterday. thankfully, from the Catalan Dragons' point of view, it's not a serious one, and they hope to have him back in time for next weekend's game against Hull Kingston Rovers, whose coach Justin Morgan, I notice, is in the crowd here tonight watching their opposition.
Justin Morgan, who has an assignment against the Saints, of course, at Craven Park tomorrow afternoon at 3 o'clock. That will be a real test for St Helens, and a real test, of course, for Hull KR. Corquitas driving the ball forward, joined from Salford, of course, who were relegated at the back end of last year.
That's a wonderful kick and chase.
It's Clint Greenshields.
That really would have pleased their coach, Terry Mattison. He's been working very hard. I had a little chat with him, of course. He was our guest yesterday at Warrington, and he said that Castleford, their fitness levels were superb. We'll soon find out.
It's the Catalan Dragons, though, with Casey Maguire. That's a great offload from Casey Maguire. Good defence needed for Castleford, and it was against Thomas Bosk. Little dab over the top now by Maguire for Katabi to chase again, but it's well watched by Stuart Donlan.
Good play, though, by Casey Maguire. Captain tonight, of course, Eddie's already mentioned. Pretty big shoes to fill in the space of Stacey Jones. But he's certainly combined well there with his half-back partner, Thomas Bosk. Beautiful offload.
That's Ryan McGoldrick. He plays the ball there to the hooker, Henderson. They try and get it wide down that left-hand side. That's Peter Lupton. Henderson again, going down the short side.
Crafty little play. It's going to be an interesting battle, you know, between Aaron Gorrell and Andrew Henderson. Whoever takes control there in the dummy half position, such an integral part in any team's success.
Not the best kick downfield, but there is Henderson, the Scottish international. He was captain last year, a major influence on the team down here at the Jungle as they came out of National League One. Gorrell, he played just 3 matches at the start of last year, was injured, and they didn't see him again, and he was a great loss to them. Here is Alex Chan now.
Be interesting to see how Gorrell's knee stands up to the rigours of this Super League competition.
Maguire gets beautiful the ball away to Gossard. Gossard makes a few more metres forward. That's the last tackle, though. And Gorrell gets it to Maguire again. Up it goes. Referee calls everyone onside. That ball bounces. It comes back on the Catalan Dragons side. He tries to smuggle the ball through his legs, but he couldn't get it away, even though it was collected there by Jean-Philippe Bale. It's the turnover.
Well, they were all over the shop there. You don't let the ball down bounce. Luke Dawn really not getting anywhere near that high bomb. Interesting, the game last night, Eddie, I made the point. There was very few kicks into the corner at Warrington. Early in this game, we've already seen one, and I think we'll get plenty of that tonight.
Good defence required by Thomas Bosk. Here is Henderson again, looking busy.
Okay, move!
Donlan gets the ball in field, and he finds his half-back Brent Sherwin filling Danny Bruff's shoes, of course. We talk about Stacey Jones. Not playing for Catalan Dragons anymore. Danny Bruff is just up the road at Wakefield, and number 7 there, Brent Sherwin, who had the kick in and was leading the chase. He is the man that has been brought in here by Terry Mattison to take over from Danny Bruff.
Great kick into the corner there, and what a wonderful chase by the youngster Joe Westerman. Came up with a copybook tackle right round the ankles. Such a talent. Lots expected of him.
Oh, that's risky business.
Let's play on. It went backwards.
A real risky pass by Ferriol. McGoldrick was hunting it. The ball, though, ending up in Castleford hands. This is McGoldrick again.
Well, it's one thing trying to offload, but deep in your own half, that was suicidal.
There's Sherwin. That was Owen Guttenbeil. This is Thackeray. Thackeray bullets the pass to the full-back Dawn. It goes wide. This is Michael Shenton, one of the outstanding young players here 80th appearance for Castleford here tonight. He's scored 51 tries already. That's a drive forward by Lupton once again. 4 tackles gone. Thackeray to Guttenbeil. Guttenbeil manages to dunk the ball away. Picked up by Luke Dawn. Luke Dawn is good on his feet. And the Castleford fullback almost through. It needed good defence from the Dragons, and it so far has been. This is Thackeray though. The ball bouncing everywhere. And in the end, the Dragons get the ball over the goal line to safety.
Good work by Greenshields there. It was a neat little chip into the in-goal area. Just had enough time to scramble over it.
Starting very strongly, Castleford. They've got a lot of players in motion. Thackeray, great player last year in the National League. I just get a bit excited.
Penalty for the Catalan Dragons.
Silly play there by Henderson. Just lost the plot slightly.
Jean-Philippe Bale trying to play the ball. Andrew Henderson just trying to get in front of him and doing the wrong thing.
Eddie, although Catalan finished in 10th position in the league table at the end of the season, in the opening quarter of games last year, they were the strongest side, in fact, equal with St Helens at beginning games so well and putting points on the board. And I guess Castleford will be aware of that and wanting to remain at this tempo. Watch for Goroloa in the dummy half. He will create options and attacking plays for the Dragons.
Jean-Philippe Bale seeing plenty of it. That pass getting to him from Jason Croker, former rugby union player, caught Mick Potter's eye pre-season, came from Toulouse and the feeder club that is there for the Catalan Dragons. That's an awful play of the ball. Surely that was not legal, but this is Thomas Bosk.
Well, I think the play of the ball was all right. It's just that the dummy half wasn't watching.
Here's Casey Maguire, a stab to the in-goal area. There are problems here. It's a goal line dropout.
Good pressure by John Wilson there.
But it's like Stacey Jones has never been here. Maguire started this game in terrific style.
Oh, he's got the talent, don't worry. And it's a golden opportunity for Casey Maguire to show to the world that he is up to the same standard as Stacey Jones. It's a big ask, but he's a good thinker, good organiser out on the field of play, and that was very good work indeed. But full credit to the Tigers. They got back in numbers. They had to.
Casey Maguire, of course, is himself a former State of Origin representative player with Queensland. There's a lovely mix of experienced Antipodeans and Frenchmen. And here is Clint Greenshields. And it's another penalty against Castleford. Interference as Greenshields tried to get to his feet.
Well, Henderson did all the hard work. And Guttenbeil just gave away a silly penalty. Surely they'll take the two. They appear to be bringing on the kicking tee.
The problem for Terry Mattison here is the team have got to be more disciplined, Phil, in Super League.
You know, if you look back over the last few years, the sides that have been promoted have tended to give away more penalties than anybody else, particularly for infringements around the play of the ball, almost trying to slow their opponents down. And I guess that's the biggest challenge here for a team that's promoted into a division where the speed of the game tends to be a little faster than down in National League One, something that the Castleford Tigers will have to adapt to very quickly.
I think you're right, Phil, and I think it's already shown on 2 occasions is the fact that the French side are doing the inside pass very close to the play the ball area, and they've made the half break. Greenshields was nearly through on that occasion.
Very interesting, Eddie, to watch the Dragons in the warm-up to this game, working particularly behind the play the ball area. Massive focus for them tonight.
Thomas Bosk is successful with the 3rd penalty that the Catalan Dragons have had this evening. First points of the new campaign on the board then for the French team. Catalan Dragons under the control of Mick Potter on the left of your screen there. They're ahead by 2 points to 0.
But with the infringements there, lads, where they're giving the penalties away, it's probably a bit of over-eagerness by them as well. They're not doing anything dirty. They are trying to slow the players down to get up to speed with it, but this Castleford side, they've promoted 10 of the first team who played in that grand final last year. Terry Mattison very confident in their ability, and they've started strong, but the one thing, as Phil quite rightly said, they've got to control this Catalan set of forwards. They're just going out to the second man, turning the ball back inside and targeting Castleford behind the ruck.
Terry Mattison picking up the pattern that Justin Morgan had last year, of course, in allowing the majority of the team that got him promotion a chance in the big time.
To start the season, but if you look at the Hull Kingston Rovers side at the end of the season, when they were faced with potential relegation, it was almost a completely different team.
And it is now, of course, because Justin Morgan and Hull Kingston Rovers have recruited very strongly indeed. 11 minutes gone, Catalan Dragons 2-0 up here. A mess to play the ball and a penalty to Castleford. Cyril Stakul will not want to see this again.
Ball play forwards.
Well, it's schoolboy stuff, really.
Referee said the ball was played forwards. I don't know whether it was. That's great defence. That's a fantastic defence on Michael Korkidas by the Catalan Dragons. They made the mistake. They forced the man over the line. Immediately they get the ball back from the scrum.
And there's one very relieved player there, the winger, Cyril Stakul, who's certainly put the shoulder into it there. That is a relief.
But what a way to get yourselves back in possession with defence like that, Terry.
It is great defence, but it's poor attack as well, that, Eddie. Like when you get the ball, you've got to try and get to the middle of the sticks. There's no point trying to get down that down the short side there. And the Catalan set of players there were just too eager for the Castleford forward.
Well, some outstanding youngsters here at Castleford. Westerman, Ryan Boyle, Richard Owen, Craig Hubie, Michael Shenton. Outstanding junior talent is being developed, and they've just signed 7 more local juniors to underline their commitment. Certainly all the Super League clubs are looking around the junior clubs now and developing their own talent. This is the way that the game will go forward over the next 4 years. And this is John Wilson.
Oh, that was a high shot. Silly play. Silly play, swinging arm. It has been a problem with Michael Korkidas over the years. He doesn't really get his body in the right position, gets out of balance, and it's virtually just a lunge in sheer desperation. Rubber the jaw.
Wilson got a hat-trick on his last visit to the jungle. A 40 points to 18 victory in May of 2006.
10 metres, Ryan!
The biggest problem with people the teams that are promoted, Eddie, is that sometimes they rely on this, trying to hold the players down, trying to make the pace against them, because it will be difficult for them to get used to it.
Well, it was probably just about legal in the National League, but there's no place for it here in the Super League.
Touch forward, I feel, that last pass, got away with it.
Ferriol plays the ball. Here is Maguire. Chan is on the charge. And it needed to be a brave tackle from Henderson, and it was. Gorrell is there.
Pass, inside pass, is it?
Gorrell to Maguire. Good ball again, flat pass. Good defence, though, from Castleford. Here is Gorrell once more. They go wide, Croker, and this is Bale. And has Bale got the ball down? Has Jean-Philippe Bale got the ball down for his first try after just 14 minutes of his Super League debut? There's a chance.
Well, it looked there that Michael Wainwright looked as though he had the ball first. I don't think he's down. I think they've got underneath him. There you can see it.
Well, Wainwright did really well to get the leg underneath the ball, didn't he?
It looked for a moment there as though Wainwright had actually stripped the ball one-on-one, and then it went back into the arms of the former rugby union player, that is, and I must say he's impressed me in the opening 15 minutes, this Jean-Philippe Bale. Has he got the try? I don't think so. I think they'll take it back to play the ball.
Richard Silverwood is the video referee. What does he say? What's his decision? It's no try, but Catalan Dragons retain possession. This is the last tackle then in this set of 6. And it's right on the goal line.
Got to try to get a kick into the in-goal area as quickly as possible.
Bingham just managed to get... Oh, that's a mistake. Oh, the referee will give the knock-on against Thomas Bosk. I thought that perhaps...
No, he's given it to Catalan. It was... this is the first knock-on. He'll take it. Luke Dawn got a fingertip to it there.
All right, there was one there. I thought when Bosk got the ball in the kicking area there, I thought he'd said that was the knock-on. So this is a great opportunity, and there is Thomas Bosk. Just got a toe to the ball before it hit the deck. Big question mark against the Castleford defence here as it comes back to Maguire. Maguire to Greenshields.
Well, the idea was there. It was reined back about 3 or 4 metres, but Casey Maguire has got to be running onto the football a little bit more than that.
Good defence there from Castleford.
Well spotted on that occasion. Again, the Catalans bringing the ball back on the inside. Short pass.
Maguire, good ball. And Ferriol is through the gap. Can Shenton keep him out?
He's pinched the ball.
Can.
He's pinched the ball.
Offside.
Offside is the referee's decision. Offside against Castleford.
Offside, interference.
Well, very fortunate the French outfit there because the ball was stripped one-on-one.
Go.
They're running it, needless to say. This is Big Alex Chan. And Castleford coming there in numbers to keep him out. Aaron Gorrell is the dummy half. Carlo waits. They don't find him though. They bring it underneath the sticks to Gossard.
Another great tackle by Andrew Henderson. Oh, back to 6. It was on the intercept. That's no advantage, is it? He's playing it, is Phil Bentham. And he says, OK, you had the opportunity. Was a knock-on way downfield.
Well, he should really have put the scrum down another 10 metres further forward. Croker dribbles the ball behind the defence. But that's a good play from the Castleford Tigers man, Wainwright.
It was good play, but I must say, the Catalans, they lost the plot there. They must have thought it was the last. It was definitely touched. It should have been back to 1. Whether they didn't see, oh, that's a high shot. All that pressure. And full credit to the Tigers. They dug deep, and none more so than their hooker, Andrew Henderson. Yep. Thomas Foss come flying in.
I think it was Ferriol, actually, Steve, who had him round the neck. Great work there.
But I can't believe that the French side opted for the kick into the corner when they had another 5 tackles.
They probably had that many tackles that they thought the element of surprise maybe early in the tackle count. The kick through was a good idea, just wasn't quite executed. You know, when you talk about kicks to create tries, there was no better player in Super League than Stacey Jones last year, and that's, I suppose, an area that the Catalan side need to find a replacement for that. I think in Bosch and Maguire at 6 and 7, they have 2 outstanding players, but their kicking game, let's see how that goes over the next month or 2.
Castleford Tigers just over the halfway with their skipper Owen Guttenbiel, and he is halted by 3 defenders. And Castleford, as you can see, struggling to get any possession in their opponent's half. That was Sherwin. This is Dawn. It was picked out of the air by Ryan McGoldrick. Quick play the ball. Katabi with the tackle on Scott Moore, the man from St Helens who is here on loan at the end of the season. Here he is again. Gets the ball away to Sherwin. He is drilled to the ground. The tackle is not completed.
That'll be a penalty to the French outfit.
You've gone down, you never held.
He has to regain his feet before he plonks the ball down.
Well, the referee said play on. He said the tackle wasn't completed. He was trying to encourage the player, Sherwin almost on autopilot, just getting up and playing as quickly as possible. But the ref thought he should have attempted to carry on with the game. Tackle not completed.
He immediately shouted play on, Phil Bentham. He's getting the rounds of the kitchen here from the Castleford crowd, of course, for that decision, but he did immediately shout play on.
That's been the big problem for the Tigers, in as much that every time they've got into a pretty good area against the Catalans, they've wasted it by giving away penalties. They're allowing the French side to get momentum upfield.
Second move. Go.
Aaron Gorrell, the dummy half. And that's Maguire. There's Bosch bringing the runner back on his inside.
And went. Go.
And the runner was Jason Croker. Good handling there from Catalan Dragons. Clint Greenshields, though, going down under a heavy challenge from Mark Liaffa.
5 lost.
Last tackle here for Catalan.
We're just short of the line, lads. We're just short.
Gorrell. Oh, over the heads of everybody. Oh, and an interception is on. Good thinking there by Shenton. Ball flicked up, and Shenton was the first to react. It was Dane Carlo's mistake. This is Patrick. And they're offside, Catalan Dragons. It's a penalty to Castleford.
Well, the real first opportunity now for the Tigers. That was sloppy play by the Catalans. When it got to the last, they really should have had someone in position. The pass from dummy half was atrocious. Good work, though, by Anthony Thackeray. Deep into the corner. What can the Tigers come up with now? Will they have a set pattern? They're taking a settler.
Craig Hubie on the ball for the Tigers. That was Scott Moore. That's Brent Sherwin. This is Owen Guttenbeil. Guttenbeil stands 10 metres away from the line. Down he goes. Came over 12 months ago, Owen Guttenbeil. Thought he'd be in Super League. Operated in National League last year. Here he is where he thinks he belongs. Great ball from Sherwin. Dawn. Wide it goes. And a try here for Stuart Donlan. Castleford have had to withstand all that pressure. And the ball fed wide, and Donlan, a man who has had 6 Super League seasons in the past with Huddersfield and Halifax before that, he's got over for the first Tigers try back in the big time.
Wonderful effort to go one way and then bring them out on the angle. You can see how the winger has come well out of his position. This was wonderful play. Very clever indeed. But you've got to point the finger, I'm afraid, at poor defence. He's happy, Terry Madison. We mentioned the fact they used just a settler to take it one way, then they did the switch. And I'm afraid the Catalan defence just absolutely fell apart.
Stuart Donlan got 20 tries last year, a career best. His total is up and running again here now. And here is young Joe Westerman. A hot tip for Super League's Young Player of the Year already, Westerman. And what about that for a kick? 6-2, the Tigers lead.
There you see, Katami, the winger, has come right out of his position. They missed the man out, and Donlan, he scores tries for fun if you give him the space. The first real opportunity by the Tigers, and fully deserved. Beautiful switch.
Well, that will settle the nerves, maybe. Here comes Liafa. Charging into Jerome Guisset. Alex Chan helping to finish him off. A hand in at the ruck. I must say we had almost 30 penalties last night at Warrington. We've had 23 minutes here, and we've already had 10 from the whistle of Phil Bentham.
Well, there didn't appear to be an arm or a hand anywhere hanging around. He was very slow to get squared up in the play-the-ball area. It was a problem that Castleford were having early in this match, but now the tables has turned. Catalan are doing exactly the same thing. They're allowing the Tigers to get into good field position. And the way that they utilise that switch, they're eager to score more points.
Guttenbeil, the leader for Castleford, on halfway.
He's having a big game as well. He's one of the few out there that can really twist and turn in the tackle and offload.
Here's Scott Moore again. Brent Sherwin waits the dummy half. Gets the ball away to Thackeray. Thackeray then gives it to Luke Dawn. Luke Dawn is quick on his feet. Gets the ball wide. Oh, it's a great tackle by Green Shields.
Offside.
It's offside against the Castleford man. The ball propelled forward. Luke Dawn was on the deck and couldn't resist just grabbing it. But what an opportunity, but what a tackle from the Catalan Dragons fullback.
Certainly was. Green Shields just kept his pace. Just shows you the difference there, linking in from the fullback position, Luke Dawn, and showed you the inexperience of the former rugby union player, Jean-Philippe Bale. He was left legless there. Take nothing away from the speed from Dawn. We know he's got plenty of that.
Good defence from the Castleford Tigers.
You've got to give a big rap to the Castleford forwards, the way that they've been under pressure in their own half, defending the 20, but they're coming up with the big runs, getting Castleford on the front foot and giving the people like Luke Dawn a bit of space out wide to create something.
I made the point, Terry, that Terry Matheson, their coach, said that they were super fit. They have to be when you come into Super League. But I must say, they're working as a unit. There's 2, 3, sometimes 4 in the tackle.
That's a great kick from Casey Maguire. Was it a 40-20, this? No, it wasn't.
He was just stepped over the line. Either way, you took...
fractional. It really was fractional where he kicked this from, believe me. Look.
Foot over it.
Guys, that was bad as you
Foot
think.
not
Only
on
just...
it. Wasn't the foot on the line?
Certainly appears that way.
He's in one short, two short, wait.
He had no hesitation.
No, mate.
Phil Bentham.
Short.
That's a
Wait.
40-20.
Should have been.
Okay. Hold. Out.
On the line is out.
Yep.
Do you know, Steve, you talk about like the speed of the game and the Castleford players that have got to get used to it, but they're both starting off probably the first, well, they are starting off the first league game, and they've both really got to get up to speed with the game. They've both had really big pre-seasons where they're training hard, lifting big heavy weights, so they both need that game time, and if you play the game at a good speed, that's where you get your match fitness.
Well, the reason why I was slightly confused about the 40-20, about 12 months ago, if we remember rightly, the rule changed because the foot on the line indicated in the 40-20 attempt that the ball was over the other side of that line. So it was not a 40-20, but it was very close to it.
Well, you said it was out, so it was out the other way rather than your way. That's a big error by the fullback, Luke Dawn, at a time when you just felt that the Tigers were controlling it.
Yep. Line, wait.
But what an effort we've seen from the Tigers skipper. Buttenbeil has been everywhere. Oh, some slack passing yet again.
Yes, it just lacked a little bit of momentum there, didn't they? But Stakul, he keeps the possession for his team.
This is doing nothing for the French confidence. They really have got to roll the sleeves up, get him to some hard work. Casey Maguire, the skipper, has got to really lead by example.
Dane Carlaw there in possession. The former Australian international, a 3-year deal from the Brisbane Broncos. And this is John Wilson. Gorrell scampers into dummy half once again. Casey Maguire, short ball from him. Again, Carlaw looking for the opportunity, but the Castleford defence standing firm. And what can Gorrell do here? Dabs the ball to the in-goal area. Well picked up by Luke Dawn.
Put his body on the line there, did Dawn. It had to. It's a neat little kick through. You just sense that the Tigers have got a lot more enthusiasm. Okay, they were a bit rusty early in the match, but they look as though they're confident now, and that's good play.
Here's Donlan, the try scorer, fed by Ryan McGoldrick. The Rugby League's information line, 0844 477 7113. Available for any detail you might require about Leeds and Melbourne. 3 weeks yesterday, the World Club Challenge at Ellen Road, February the 29th.
5. Come on, Jerome. Go.
Scotty Moore is the dummy half.
Kick and chase has to be good. That's a nice kick.
Over the top of Yunus Katabi. It's a great kick, and it's a good chase. But Katabi does well. Under extreme pressure then.
If you continue to get the position out on the field, Eddie, you'll come up with the positives more than the negatives. But Scott Moore's kick was outstanding.
They're okay. They're okay. Third. Wait.
Cyril Stakul.
40.
This time the referee has called the 40, but it
40-20.
does it make
That's
the 20?
a great
Yes,
play,
it
Eddie. On
does.
the third tackle, Aaron Gorrell's backed himself there and his ability. He stepped out from the acting half-back position and put a perfect kick in here now. 10 minutes out from half-time. That is superb skill. I was only going to compliment, you know, one of the most important skills in a game, Steve-O, and yet one that goes almost unnoticed, is the accurate pass from dummy half. Here it is showing the dummy half ability to kick the ball, but Gorrell on most occasions puts the ball exactly where the ball carrier wants it.
Yeah, he'll be happy with that. They're taking a quick tap. They haven't gone for a kick into the corner. Of course, he missed nearly all of last season, did Aaron Gorrell. He's a talented player, that's for sure.
This is Jerome Guisset. Carlaw takes a breather. Drive forward here by Remy Casti. Wonderful defence again on their own line from the Tigers. Knock on. They force the error from the Catalan Dragons.
And that comes about by sheer power, nothing else. Remy Casti just got blasted to the ground.
And a little elbow in the chin as well.
Okay, yep, no problem. Packing tight, wait.
Well, the officials, they can't see everything, but you've got to be happy with the way, if you're a Castleford fan, the way that they've regrouped.
Hold, go.
They found it very difficult of Catalans to go into the tackle and look to offload because there's been such swarming defence by the Tigers. They're closing them down very quickly indeed.
Anthony Thackeray in possession here for Castleford, formerly with Hull and York.
Wait here. You're pulling in me.
Had a great season, as one of my colleagues here said earlier on, in National League One last year.
Go back.
There's Scott Moore. Nice little run from Scott Moore. Loses the ball though.
That'll be
Goal
play on.
has it back for the Catalan Dragons.
0. Move. And
Well,
wait.
nice to see that the official Phil Bentham is quite happy to let the game flow.
Scott Moore famous for the fact that when he was given his debut in the game against Wigan in 2004 by the then St Helens coach Ian Millwood, he became the youngest ever Super League player. He was just 16 years of age. Daniel Anderson happy to allow him to come to the jungle this year for a full year of first team football. That's good hands. This is a great run. And that's Wilson, and wide it goes again to Katabi. Katabi has to come back this way and makes a complete and utter hash of it. But it's play on. They lost it both ways and they still haven't got it properly. Now they have. This is Gregory Muniz.
They were very slow though. The three quarters of Catalan, they really should have had that ball whipped out to the winger.
Thomas Bosk drags the man back on the inside. Here is Casey Maguire again. Maguire to Jerome Guisset. Guisset out the back door to Muniz. Muniz trying to skip his way through and doing very well, Gregory Muniz. The ball comes back again. Catalan keeping the ball alive at every opportunity. Guisset back amongst the heavy traffic.
Full credit to the Tigers' defence. They come out wide on this left-hand side to make sure that they shut them down.
Maguire finds Gorrell. Gorrell then to Muniz. Oh, great pass from Muniz, but picked up by Thackeray, and Thackeray has support inside him.
Oh, crunch time.
That was Wainwright.
Greenshields just threw his body at him. Crowd are screaming for a penalty, offside, anything, it doesn't matter. But the Tigers have got him on the rack. Again, they're booing at the official, but he wants it to keep complying. Why not?
McGoldrick wide to Ludon. Good tackle. Low down by Bosk and Katabi over the top. That's Donlan. Here is McGoldrick. This is Sherwin. Now Guttenbeil. Guttenbeil straightens it up. Thinks about the offload. Takes the tackle in the end. That's the fourth. They're 3 meters away. Scott Moore. Sherwin. Call on the inside from Shenton. Wonderful pass. Great try. Michael Shenton. Another youngster that they're pinning their hopes on.
Well, they paid the price, didn't they? Catalan had every opportunity, and then the intercept back on the inside. They were all at 6s and 7s. You see the fullback, Clint Greenshields. He just threw himself into that. Wainwright hit the deck, but from that position, they were always going to be in all sorts of trouble. Back on the inside, Shenton says, let me have it. It's something that the French outfit has been doing all throughout this game. This is the first time that they've delayed the pass on the inside by the Tigers, and it is to near perfection. Are they happy or what? I think the answer to that is yes. Super play. But Mick Potter, the Catalans coach, will be furious.
Thanks, mate. Good.
Westerman adds the extras, a little easier than his first conversion from out on the touchline. And the Tigers ahead by 12 points to 2 on their big return to Super League.
I think Terry Masson will be happy with several features in this game, but particularly how Brent Sherwin started. Some of the things that they've done have been very, very subtle, but highly effective. If you just watch when he gets his hands on the ball, it very often fakes to go one way, maybe only 2 or 3 steps, Eddie, but the effect that it has on the opposition defence can be massive and can lead to some points for the Tigers, I'm sure, for the rest of this season.
Let's get down to the sideline again. Here's Bill.
Eddie, Mick Potter, the Catalan Dragons coach, is one of the most mild coaches in Super League, but he was going absolutely berserk in the build-up to that try. In fact, berserk when his side were on the attack. It might have looked pretty, it might have looked entertaining and exciting for the armchair viewer, but it was a coach's nightmare, and he was sending out instructions, or trying to send out instructions, via Rodney Howe, his man on the sideline, for his side to keep hold of the ball, and they just wouldn't keep hold of the ball. They kept offloading it. They were on the sideline shouting, keep a hold of it. They didn't do that, and ultimately they paid the price.
Yes, they did.
0. Surrender,
Well, it's
lads.
desperate times now. Mick Potter knows that. He's got to send the message out. They've got to come on. They've got to keep a little bit more composure. They look as though they're panicking all the time with the French outfit.
Here's Maguire. Back it comes. That's a good ball. That was Wilson, but again, Donlan all over him. Here's another penalty for interference as the Frenchman tried to get to his feet. Let's say Catalan look pretty impressive to the 10-metre mark, and they don't look as though they've got the mongrel in them to get over the line. They're going to make me a liar now.
They can't
realise that.
They don't seem to finish, and when they do, they try to keep it alive. As Bill's mentioned, Mick Potter wants them to be a little bit more steady out there. They've got to do that.
Gorrell is the dummy half. Guisset is the runner.
They need to score to get back into this game, because if Castleford get a sniff of another try, is he over?
That's
He's short.
Nunes. No, great. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 yellow jerseys stop Muniz from getting over under the posts. Maguire again. Good work from McGoldrick. Wouldn't be fooled by the drop of the shoulder. Gorrell waiting again. Dummy half. Having a go himself, Aaron Gorrell.
Held up.
Held up, 5 back there.
They'd be delighted with this defence, Terry Mattison and his coaching staff so far.
It's been superb. They've worked as a unit. As I mentioned, the first 10-15 minutes were a little bit shaky, but boy, they've got it organised.
Another excellent piece of defensive skill from the Castleford Tigers. They're defending their line, and if they can do this against the majority of the Super League teams this year, Terry, they will not only, well, they don't have to worry about survival because it's all about a licence system in July, but they will win more than they lose.
The impressive thing about them is just how they keep turning up for each other. They've been under so much pressure this first half, defending their own 20, and let's look at the big lads. They just keep turning up time after time after time, taking them down the field.
2 minutes to half-time. First 40 minutes of Castleford's life in Super League 13. Oh, that bounce kindly from McGoldrick. Here is Donlan. Trouble here for the Catalan Dragons. Oh, and he just couldn't take it in, McGoldrick. Well, that was going to be a big lead to take with them at half-time, but McGoldrick just dropped the ball. How's that come out? I think Hubie got a hand to that. Referee says play on. It's Sherwin. And Donlan took a big divot out of the ground there as he collected that. Here's Westerman.
Well, the one thing you've got to say for it, it is entertaining. That was a knock-on.
That went backwards. That went backwards from Gregory Muniz, surely.
It's off your hand, forwards.
I think Gossard got a hand to it.
Cyril Gossard. But it was Gossard, and I think that went backwards.
Was the ball not thrown at his arm, though?
Yes.
It's an offloaded pass from Westerman onto the arm, unintentional. It's almost like when you kick the ball at a player, it hits him unintentionally.
To be fair to the official, it was very difficult to pick up from there. All he saw, that the arm made contact and it hit the deck forward as far as he was concerned. This is dangerous times now in the final minute of this first half. Catalans cannot afford. I don't think they could come back, if they score here, the Tigers.
Sherwin manages to retain possession. It's Scott Moore and Westerman.
Beautiful pass by Moore. Good position by the loose forward Westerman.
Sherwin again. Thackeray. Short ball from Thackeray. They keep the ball alive again. Gutenbiel. Still going, Owen Gutenbiel. Tried to get that ball away then.
Let's play on. It looks as though...
Yes, he tried to offload the ball and it bounced kindly for Thomas Bosch.
Shoulder.
Well, that is a huge relief, and Mick Potter, their coach, knows it. They really have panicked as a French outfit, and they've got to sort that out at half-time.
Play on.
Okay, 10 points adrift.
Still play on.
There's the last tackle of this first half. And Castleford Tigers, Stuart Donlan with the first try. It took 23 minutes or thereabouts to come, but he got the first try, and then Michael Shenton, on his 80th appearance for the Tigers, got the second just before half-time. And Castleford